Hey there, good to see you again. Welcome back to the vlog. If you're new here, my name's Tim Simpson and I do all sorts of really geeky stuff. Today I'm having a look at a new video camera I've picked up and it's pretty damn cool. Stick around and have a look at it. G'day, how's it going? Really good to see you guys again. Now the camera I've got to show you today is something that's quite new, quite special, and I think it's an absolutely brilliant camera, and here it is. It's the DJI Osmo Pocket. It just sits in this little case and literally fits in your pocket. Really easy to carry around. It is a small handle with a little touch screen on it just here. This little gimbal and camera. So when you want to shoot with this thing, all you need to do is just turn it on with one button and push record with the other button. If you want to use your iPhone or Android phone with it, you can just flip the dongle over, which comes with it, and that gives you the lightning port connector there on the side. Or if you're using Android, it needs to be a USB-C one. You can't use the micro HDMI. And then you just plug that into your phone like that, turn it on, and there you go. There's the camera with the gimbal all ready to go, and you can go and shoot some fantastic footage. And that's what we'll do right now. I'll just run outside, go over the road, check over at the park, and run into town and do a bit of skateboarding around the waterfront. Let's see what we can pull out of this thing. So I thought I'd give the Osmo Pocket here a bit of a try out while I'm skateboarding around the Wellington waterfront with a bit of wind, just to see how well it handles noise and stuff around here. It's the first time I've really had this out using it, so I've got no idea how this is going to come out or even if I'm going to be able to use it. And if you're watching this now, then obviously it worked a lot better than I expected. Anyway, back to riding. Okay, now I've been out and had a little bit of a play with this thing. I've got to say, I'm really impressed with it. The image that's coming out of it is really, really good. I was just shooting on auto myself while I was running around and skating around there. So I did do a little bit of a color grade, but not much. It's just a little bit of contrast balance, which is what you'd expect when shooting on auto because it tends to over brighten things a little bit. And that's the same with any camera. I will do another one of these and have a look at sort of the optimal settings for shooting with the Osmo Pocket as well, just because there's always more you can pull out of these things. The audio is a bit scratchy, but the noise cancelling and stuff, or the noise resistance from when I was skating around, was actually really impressive. I was quite surprised at how good that was. Just to put that in some context, it was actually very, very blustery, very strong wind, plus I was skating around at a pretty good rate of knots on the waterfront as well, so there weren't any buildings to sort of protect from the wind or anything like that. And that was perfectly legible. So, you know, if you're vlogging on the run or something like that, then it's absolutely perfect for that sort of thing. It's not going to be any award-winning audio, but it's going to be definitely usable audio. Now, I don't want to go into a big whole reading spec session, but I do want to point out some of the highlight specs of this thing. The obvious one is one of their big marketing sales points, which is the 4K 60 frames. It does that without a problem. A lot of that footage you've just seen was 4K 60 frames, so it wasn't pushing the data rate or anything like that. It takes a very fast micro SD card in it, so it can run that 4K 60 frames at a pretty reasonable data rate. Which I think is about 100 megabits per second. Maximum image size on the sensor is the 4000 by 3000 pixels. So obviously that's the same sensor they're using in some of the drones. The gimbal itself is very reactive, very quick. It's very, very smooth footage, and I was really happy with that. Though there is one minor little thing, and this is the same with all small cameras, is that if you're moving around with it, because it's so small, that point of movement where you're going like this, or if you're walking and you've got that bounce or something, that's very easy to get in this. But if you're mindful of it, and once again it's the same with all gimbals, if you're mindful of it, you can cancel that out by learning how to walk with a gimbal properly. Now, for battery in this thing, it takes about an hour and a quarter to charge it up. And once that's charged up, it's going to last you around about 2 hours and a bit if you're shooting at 1080 30 frames. Obviously, if you're shooting at a higher resolution, a higher data rate, it's going to suck the battery up a lot quicker than that. However, if you've got a power bank like this one here and a USB-C cable, you can lug that around with you, and whenever you're not shooting, you can turn it off, plug it into that, and away you go. The case, I should point out as well, has a little hole at the bottom here and another little hole at on the side, so that it's very easy to just keep it plugged into USB-C while it's still in the protective casing. So you can have that in the back pocket, that in the front pocket, a cable running between, and if you're a real camera geek, you don't really care what people think of you when you're walking around with cables dangling between your pockets. It's highly fashionable, you know. So now it'll do 4K 60 frames a second, as I've been saying, but it'll also do full HD at 120 frames a second. So if you want to get some really good smooth slow-mos, you want to shoot at that higher rate and you're happy with HD, then you can come up with some really, really nice stuff there as well. Another thing this thing's really good for is doing a lot of still photography. It's a brilliant sensor for that. I haven't had a go at that at the moment, but I have had a look at some other samples, and going and getting some still photos with this is something I want to do quite soon as well. I'll probably take this out and have a go at getting some awesome stuff out of it for some Instagram shots. So subscribe to my Instagram account as well, and you'll be able to see those when they pop up. So if there are any other specs you want to read, the link to the DJI spec sheet is down below. Go check that out. If you're thinking about buying one of these but want to know some more information about it, put some questions down below in the comments and I will get back to you and answer them. If you want me to go and shoot something in particular for a bit of sample footage for you, I'm happy to do that as well. Let me know below what you want and I'll do my best to go and do that. Don't include any Antarctic trips, I just can't afford it. So yeah, that's about it for this great little small camera. I can pretty safely say I'm going to be dragging this around with me basically everywhere. It's not going to leave my pocket for quite some time. It's not going to replace anything else I'm using. There's no way I would use it for a studio camera. I don't know what its low light performance is like. I'm going to have to be doing a video on that. Of course, everyone will want to know that one. The cell phone still does some fantastic stuff. I'll be using that, and of course the RX100s and GoPros I'll probably have in my pocket all the time as well. But for convenience and quality of footage and just value for money for these things, absolutely brilliant. Highly recommend getting one. Okay, hope this has been useful. If it has, please hit that like button. If it hasn't been useful, hit that like button anyway. You get the hint there. If you're not subscribed to this channel already, click the subscribe thing because you don't want to miss any of these, and I don't want you to miss them in particular. And I will see you in the next one tomorrow. Have a good evening.